We begin with breaking news at 5:29 on this Friday morning. West Palm Beach investigators are at a crime scene.
And that's where we find News Channel 5's Christina Noce. She's on Elmhurst Road, where we're learning more about what's going on. Christina?
Hey, John, good morning. We're actually on Westgate Avenue. Elmhurst runs into Westgate, and we're learning that this was a traffic stop, pretty routine, that went actually pretty wrong. So take a look behind us. You can see the crime scene we're looking at now. PBSO says one person is in the hospital this morning following this deputy-involved shooting. Now, this is near the intersection of Okeechobee and Military. You can see the road here still blocked off. Now, PBSO says when a deputy pulled someone over this morning, an altercation occurred and the officer shot the driver. Now, we're told the deputy was not hurt. The driver is expected to survive. Now, something I want to point out, all of this is happening right across the street from Gold Coast Elementary School. So if you do have a child that goes there, we want to let you know that the entrance to the school is open, so you will have no problem getting there this morning. We just checked in with PBSO a moment ago. They are still investigating what happened here. We will bring you the very latest as soon as we have it. Live in West Palm Beach, Christina Noce, WPTV News Channel 5.
Thank you, Christina. Good morning, everyone, and a look at what's happening this morning on Live Viper 5 Max, South Florida's most powerful radar. And here it is, a shower. One lonely shower moving on in down from Boynton Beach down into Delray Beach over the turnpike here. There's the turnpike right there. And it's some pretty heavy rainfall in red and yellow right there. Everything today moving northeast to southwest, but there won't be very much moving through the area. Rain chances are very low today. Just that slim chance for a couple of fast moving showers cruising in along the coast. Here's your most accurate hour by hour forecast. We've got some 60s inland, but 70s along the coast. Everyone will be in the 80s by mid-morning. Holly?
All is well out on the roads right now. We start in the Treasure Coast. One of our exclusive cameras, I-95 State Road 70, had an accident here overnight, not too far from this area. All lanes back open, so good to go there. Taking a live look now at the scene in Palm Beach County. This is I-95 Hypoluxo Boulevard. We're starting to see Hypoluxo Road, rather. We're starting to see a lot of traffic build up here. Good to go, though, if you're traveling north or south. No problems that we're detecting.
Also following a bit of breaking traffic news out of St. Lucie County. Investigation now underway into what caused a deadly accident on I-95. Talk to FHP. The northbound lanes of I-95 at the Orange Avenue exit in Fort Pierce opened a short time ago. One person is dead. It was a rollover crash just south of the rest area. That investigation into what led up to the wreck happening right now at the scene. Roxanne?
Covering Indian River County now, where police in Vero Beach are investigating a murder. Police say an elderly man was beaten to death by his stepson. Investigators spent all yesterday at the house on 13th Avenue. Police say the man you just saw there, 45-year-old Donald Crabtree, killed his 71-year-old stepfather inside their home Sunday and left the body inside. Detectives say Crabtree confessed to them that he killed Richard Lloyd after an argument over money. He told them that, to quote, he struck Lloyd several times with a hammer and killed him. He then dragged the body to a back bedroom.
We've got a full confession and we've got evidence to back that up.
The investigation began after a friend of the suspect contacted police. Detectives found Crabtree at his mother's house in Okeechobee County. He waived extradition and was transported back to Indian River County last night. Meanwhile, there's also a health scare in Indian River County. A student at Indian River State College has tested positive for tuberculosis. Now, that student is now being treated. 120 classmates and teachers are now being tested as a precaution.
Is it a virus or the toxic water that's killing catfish in the Indian River Lagoon? A local marine biologist believes the cause is a specific virus because it's only affecting one species of fish, and they're all juveniles between 4 and 12 inches long. Thousands of dead hardhead catfish are floating in the lagoon from Palm Bay to Fort Pierce. The marine biologist says it has happened before, turned out to be a viral infection. So he is assuming, he says, it's the same thing this time around.
New this morning, 5 people are facing burglary and grand theft charges following a car chase that involved 3 police agencies Wednesday. Police say 4 Deerfield Beach residents and one Delray Beach resident took more than $15,000 worth of items from a Delray Beach home. Palm Beach County's Sheriff's Office and Boca Raton Police helped to track down the car and the suspects, according to Delray Beach Police. These suspects remain in jail with varying amounts of bail.
A consumer alert this morning. Think your cell phone bill is way too high? Well, it might not be your provider's fault, but the government's. A new report from the Tax Foundation shows taxes and fees take up an average of 17%. In Florida, 22.4% of your bill is taxes, and it varies wildly from state to state.
Well, it's no secret that most Americans are very unhappy with their cable providers. But which one is the worst? According to this new J.D. Power and Associates study, Comcast and Time Warner are duking it out at the bottom of the rankings. This customer satisfaction survey, or dissatisfaction survey, looked exclusively at telecom providers, companies that provide TV, broadband, and telephone services. The two best companies according to customer satisfaction, AT&T and Verizon.
Automaker Tesla is beefing up its electric car inventory. Last night, Tesla unveiled a faster all-wheel drive version of its Model S sedan. There will now be a second motor to power the front wheels, which will help everyone driving through the snow up north. The new cars will top out at 155 miles an hour. No word on when the new version will go on sale or its price tag. A big secret has been kept under wraps in South Florida for more than 2 decades. In 1992, Hurricane Andrew destroyed Zoo Miami. A year later, an older man came forward at a zoo presentation with a gift and a condition.
I opened it up. It was a check for $90,000. Don't tell anybody my name and that I gave it to you.
The generous stranger was Albert Sammy. Albert and his wife Winnie loved the zoo. They cared about animals and conservation.
So one check turns into 2 checks, turns into
10 or 11 checks, close to $1 million.
And always
anonymously.
Turns out the Sammys were worth millions. All told, they left the zoo almost $5 million. Albert died in 2006. Winnie passed away in June, and that's why we are finally hearing their names.
It's so
how generous. Wow.
Yeah, remember, the zoo was just devastated by that. Wow. Coming up this morning, for once, it wasn't the man on trial making headlines, but one of the jurors. What happened as jury selection wrapped up in the case of John Goodman?
And the countdown is on to the West Palm Beach Green Market. I'm Chris Stewart with what you can expect when it opens up for business tomorrow.
Count on News Channel 5 and our exclusive news partnership with Scripps Treasure Coast newspapers for local coverage you can count on.
This is the best time of year for fresh local produce and baked goods. And if you are looking for something to do this weekend that involves getting the very best the local vendors have to offer in produce and other things, go to downtown West Palm Beach. The Green Market is back. News Channel 5's Chris Stewart is live on the waterfront with more on what you can find there. Chris?
Oh, Roxanne, that's right. This is going to be a busy place tomorrow. Dozens of vendors, farmers going to be bringing their fresh local produce for you to buy. We have some of it here this morning. This is from Bedner's Farm Market. It's in Boynton Beach. Some peppers, corn, squash as well. All of this grown in our area, fresh, local. What you can come and buy tomorrow when the Green Market opens at 9 o'clock. It's going to run until 1 in the afternoon. If you're driving, it is good to know that parking is free at the Banyan and Avernia garages. A new thing they're adding this year is something they call the Waterfront Oasis. It's going to be an area where you can come, cool off while you've been shopping. They'll have some live music there as well. So a lot going to be happening on the first Saturday of the Green Market. This is actually kicking off the 20th season of the Green Market here on the waterfront in downtown West Palm Beach. Coming up 1 hour from now, we talk to some of the farmers that bring their local produce here to sell, why they say the stuff that is grown here in our own backyard better than what you'll find in the grocery store. But for now, we're live here in West Palm Beach. Chris Stewart, WPTV News Channel 5.
And it's a big deal. We'll be live from the Green Market tomorrow morning. Glenn will be there all morning long providing live reports and checking out the very best of the best that's there.
Well, we get a live look at things across the world in the morning here at the live desk. This right now is a view at the Turkish border town of Kobani, right at that Syrian border, as fierce fighting continues between people in Kobani and ISIS. The U.S.-led coalition had a fresh round of airstrikes near Kobani overnight. ISIS, though, providing reinforcements, so the battle continues. Turkey still taking a hard stance that is not going to allow ground troops into this battle this morning. John?
Mike, you'll notice something different about the Jupiter Jupiter Lighthouse tonight. It is being lit up in purple lights to recognize Domestic Abuse Awareness Month. Crews first lit up the lighthouse last night. They'll do it again tonight and then tomorrow night.
Good morning, everyone. Let's take a look at what you can expect in your forecast coming up in just a few minutes. We'll be talking about morning fog and rain. Do we have any around? A little bit. Nice weekend ahead, but some chances for rain maybe by the end of the weekend. And a look at the tropics, a couple things going on out there in the Atlantic.
I-95 northbound on Atlantic Avenue. We have an accident there at the exit ramp. One lane is blocked. You can see some red there. That is affecting westbound traffic trying to get onto the interstate. For the most part, though, things are looking relatively well across the viewing area.
Imagine rushing your child to the hospital only to get pulled over and given a speeding ticket and then sent on your way. More on that story when we come right back.
Welcome back. It is 5:46. Daytona Beach police arrived to a bizarre sight at a convenience store this week. Early Tuesday morning, they found this guy, Joshua Holloman, covered in tar on the roof. Look at your screen. At first, the 30-year-old told police he was there to meet his family, to meet with the family. They didn't believe him, so then he said he was there to fix the air conditioning. Again, they didn't believe him. Then he said he was living on the roof and he was using the roofing tar as camouflage. Nice try, pal. Regardless of the excuse, he's charged with attempted burglary. The appeal of this convicted killer, John Huggins, is once again rejected. The state Supreme Court yesterday rejected this latest appeal from the death row inmate, John Huggins. He has twice been convicted of murdering an Orlando engineer and leaving her body in a wooded area near Disney World in 1997. Huggins is currently being held in maximum security at Union Correctional Institution in Rayford.
A Florida mother is demanding an apology from the deputy she says gave her a speeding ticket as she was trying to rush her son to the hospital. Megan Parker says she was taking her 5-year-old to a Polk County hospital earlier this month when she thought he was getting worse, so she sped up. That's when she says a deputy pulled her over, and she says that she explained the situation, but the deputy still gave her a ticket. The sheriff's office says the deputy also called for an ambulance for the pair, but emergency responders determined that it wasn't a medical emergency. However, the boy did have to spend the next 5 days in the hospital. Parker says she'll still pay the ticket, but she'd like an apology. The sheriff's office says don't expect one. Remember the Florida judge that we've talked about a little bit over the past couple of months on Today on 5? Linda Schoonover is accused of trying to friend a woman on Facebook whose divorce case she was overseeing. The defendant says because she rejected the request, the Sanford judge gave her an inappropriate amount of alimony. Schoonover is now arguing to have her charges of misconduct thrown out, saying the investigation by the Judicial Qualifications Commission failed her. In her motion, Schoonover said she didn't understand how Facebook worked.
We're following the developing story of suspended University of Florida quarterback Treon Harris. An attorney for the Gator released a statement yesterday saying the woman making the claims was actually the sexual aggressor in the incident. Harris has been off the team since the accusation of sexual assault came to light earlier this week. The teen hasn't been arrested, nor has he been charged.
Any Katy Perry fans out there? Well, you're going to be excited about this one. The pop star is apparently in talks to host the Super Bowl 49 halftime show. It's rumored that she beat out Coldplay and Rihanna for the gig. And no, she is not paying to perform like the NFL had mentioned doing over the summer to their halftime acts. You can catch the Super Bowl February 1st right here on WPTV.
Good morning, everyone. It is 5:49 now. We're taking a look at what's going on the fog tracker, and there is a little bit of patchy fog inland Palm Beach County, just some light white right in there mixing in from Hendry County. A little bit of patchy fog being reported in Okeechobee County, but nothing that's really slowing anybody down. If it picks up a little bit, if we see some thicker fog develop, we'll let you know right away. Live Viper 5 Max, not showing very much rainfall. We have had a couple little showers sweep on through this morning. Temperatures much warmer along the coast where those warm winds are coming in off of the Atlantic. However, it's a little cooler. Look at Okeechobee at 64 degrees while everyone else is in the 70s. There you see a couple of those little showers. This is the last one just a few minutes ago, kind of dying out as it got out to the west of the turnpike. Watch Vipercast as we continue today. You see these clouds kind of streaming in from the ocean here. As we move through the day today, there's just a slim chance that we could see a couple little showers scoot on in, but otherwise, it's just going to be a warm and breezy day. There you see Vipercast picking up on a couple more, possibly tomorrow sweeping in. I'm going to leave rain chances at right around 10% for the next couple of days. However, as we get to Sunday, I'm going to raise rain chances just a little bit to around 20%. I see a little more moisture moving in, and a little more than that on Monday to 30%. I think the rainiest 2 days next week will be Tuesday and Wednesday, just ahead of what could be a weak cold front moving through the area. Don't expect any huge changes, but temperatures remain very, very warm all the way through to the middle of next week. And then our low temperatures drop a little bit and our high temperatures drop a little bit by Thursday and Friday, and we're expecting some drier air to move on in. We'll take a look at a couple things in the tropics coming up.
We are watching the tail end of an accident to I-95, the northbound ramp on Atlantic Avenue. Traffic definitely slowing down in this area. In fact, we figured out it's down to about 16 miles per hour. Here is that accident. One lane closed, but traffic is getting through, so certainly not anything that's going to slow you down too much this morning. As for the other accidents we've been watching all morning, they have finally been cleared.
All right, reading the latest from the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, it was another night of unrest in St. Louis. The protests grew, and they really got tense at some points. You're going to see that in this video. Police used pepper spray on some demonstrators in South St. Louis. This happened right after a vigil for an 18-year-old that was shot and killed by an off-duty police officer. His name, Vondret Myers. Myers was killed by that officer working for a security company, but police still maintain that Myers shot at the officer 3 times and even had an ankle bracelet on and wasn't supposed to be out of the home.
We want to take you back now live to the scene of breaking news that we're following in West Palm Beach. It's a deputy-involved shooting in West Palm Beach, Elmhurst, near Westgate. It's just across the street from a school. We've got another live report coming your way in just minutes.
And the first debate, gubernatorial candidates Rick Scott and Charlie Crist getting set to square off in their neck-and-neck race to Tallahassee.
Welcome back, everyone. 5:54 as we take a look at the tropics, and I want to show you a couple things here. First of all, National Hurricane Center has circled this area of low pressure as it continues to move north of the Leeward Islands here. This has about a 70% chance for development. It looks like it's just going to continue to move up to the north. But also here, I wanted to show you this little area of low pressure just down to the south of that. Some of the computer models have that spinning up a little bit as it moves over the next few days or so toward the Bahamas. Looks like my computer is trying to catch up with me here. There we go. Here's a look at the tropical models, what we call the spaghetti models for that area that has a 70% chance of development. And you can see it just kind of curves right out here into the ocean and doesn't really move anywhere. But other disturbance just to the south. The computer models have it moving over here just east of the Bahamas and then turning up to the north by the middle of next week. A quick look at your weekend forecast for us. Things looking good. Temperatures near 88 degrees for a high on Saturday. Only a 10% chance for rain, 20% chance on Sunday.
It's 5:55 and new this morning. The head of Microsoft is trying to reboot his image after making a controversial statement at a women's computer science conference. CEO Satya Nadella said that women don't need to ask for a raise and should instead just trust the system, calling it good karma. I might mention, when he made this comment to this group of women at this conference, there were audible gasps in the room. He took to Twitter last night to apologize for what he said, and he also issued a statement saying that he was completely wrong. Meanwhile, Wells Fargo is forking over $5 million to end a gender bias investigation. The U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development says Wells Fargo's home mortgage unit refused to make loans available to some women based on their gender or family status, and also forced some women to give up their maternity leave and go back to work before it would close a loan with them. This settlement will avoid any possible legal battle.
News on the election front as candidate Rick Scott and Charlie Crist get ready to square off for the first time tonight. It is the first in a series of 3 debates. Telemundo is hosting the debate, being recorded in just a few hours in Miramar. The event will be broadcast at 7 tonight. The next debate is being put on next week. It's by Leadership Florida in Broward County, with CNN hosting the final debate later this month. We will bring you a complete recap of the action tonight on News Channel 5. Meanwhile, a third candidate is trying to get involved in the debate. Libertarian Party candidate Adrian Wiley filed a lawsuit yesterday to join the debate next week. Wiley claims that his rights are being infringed upon because of a rule requiring participants to show at least 15% support in a reputable independent opinion poll. It'll be up to a federal judge in Fort Lauderdale to decide.
President Obama is going after Republicans again on the issue that has been plaguing politics for years, immigration reform. Last night in California, the president said the GOP is committing political suicide by opposing immigration reform. The president plans to sign an executive order after the November election to make visa changes that would allow more technically skilled workers to get into the United States.
But whatever I do through the executive branch will not be as effective as we could do through legislation. And, you know, it's anybody's guess how Republicans are thinking about this.
Republicans have also taken shots at the president over immigration. He originally planned to take executive action on immigration earlier, but then decided to delay it until after the November election. Republicans said he was playing politics.
We're continuing our coverage of the Ebola scare this morning and what the U.S. government is doing about it. Secretary of Defense Chuck Hagel is meeting with Central and South American leaders in the coming days to discuss the growing threat. This comes after statements from a Marine general expressing concerns that those countries don't have the ability to deal with Ebola and that an outbreak there could cause people to try and flee to the U.S.
Well, airports are taking the threat of Ebola very seriously, even though some people are not. Some people, passengers on a U.S. Airways flight from Philly to the Dominican Republic, got out their cell phones as 4 people in hazmat suits removed a passenger who made a comment about Ebola. Security measures such as infrared thermometers are already used to check travelers leaving Liberia, Guinea, and Sierra Leone. Starting tomorrow, authorities will start implementing similar security measures at the 5 U.S. airports which handle the vast majority of passengers from West Africa.
You don't catch everyone. You catch the people who are frankly ill, and the people who are infected but aren't ill can still get through the gate.
Palm Beach International Airport released a statement this week saying it's working with the county to ensure that the airport is ready to deal with the virus.